road trip. I hate it. I hate driving. I hate it. Why does anybody drive? I hate America. America
sucks.
built on driving and cars, and it's dumb. This has gone from now being a road trip video to a
documentary on fear.
Oh, hello. Hi, how are you? It has been a minute since I made a video, but I want to jump right back in by telling you the story of this road trip that David and I went on. Let me explain. So back in December, David and I were getting ready to celebrate our 3-year wedding anniversary. Yes, congratulations, happy. For every year of marriage, at least one road trip.
At least.
So we planned this whole road trip throughout the Southwest, and we were pumped about it. We started off by making our way through Death Valley, which was unreal. I honestly don't think I've ever been anywhere that vast. I've since found out that it is the largest US national park south of Alaska, so it makes sense. But when you're there, it's just an expanse, and it's so quiet. It just feels like you're on another planet, honestly. No point capturing any of this because it doesn't look any good compared to how it looks in real life. That night we made it to Las Vegas and we pretty much went straight to sleep because we were staying on the Strip, and it turns out that the Strip is a nightmare. Strip sucks. It's the worst. I hate it.
We're off for good coffee now, so.
They're over there. They're over there.
Where are you pointing?
Back there. Look dumb.
Cute. That looks cute.
Okay, I got pretty saucy about Vegas earlier. I like it. We're in the arts district now. We just went to some vintage stores. Yeah, I think it's redeemed itself.
We were just talking about how blown away we were by Death Valley yesterday. There's no way you can drive through a national park without wanting to be a better steward of the environment.
I don't care much about nature, usually, but national parks are one of the greatest gifts that we have in the US, I think. On our way out of Nevada, we made an unexpected pit stop in the Valley of Fire State Park, which was so cool. It ended up being one of my favorite parts of the whole trip, actually. It's got these beautiful red rocks that you can climb on, and there's barely anybody there. It's amazing. I didn't expect it because it's just a state park, but it was beautiful.
Just out here, just recording ourselves.
Eventually, we hopped back in the car and we continued on our way to Utah. But right after we exit the park, we get pulled over. And I feel like it's important to mention that David has never been pulled over in his life. So we're both pretty freaked out about the whole thing. It turns out we were speeding in a school zone, and so we get a hefty ticket. It's not really a pleasant interaction, but it's over pretty quickly. We feel sorry for ourselves, but we move on. We cross over the border from Nevada to Utah, keep driving. Then 3 minutes away from our hotel in this tiny town called Laverkin, Utah, we see lights again. At this point, we're confused because David has been driving perfectly because he's been so spooked about the last ticket. So the cop comes to our window and says, "Do you know why I'm stopping you?" And we're just like, no, we don't. And he tells us our headlight is out, which is surprising because we had just gotten it changed in LA right before we left for the road trip. But we're like, okay, no problem. Also, relatively small thing. And he comes back and he says, "Are you aware you're driving on a suspended license?" Oh, at this point, we're like, he's joking. He's messing with us. There's no way. Why is it suspended? He's like, I don't know. The system in Nevada is different. What? So they wouldn't have seen it. But all I can tell you is that if you continue driving on a suspended license, it's an arrestable offense. I remember we're like a 7-hour at least drive away from home. At this point, the cop looks at me as if I'm gonna be the solution to this problem. And of course, I don't have a license, so I can't drive. But it doesn't matter. Driving on a suspended license is an arrestable offense, while driving on an out-of-state permit is like a relatively large fine. So the latter is preferable if you have to choose one. In case you need to know that information for later, hopefully not. It's all overwhelming. I drive us back to our hotel. David and I are racking our brains trying to think of solutions. We realize we're not gonna be able to continue our road trip. How can we just get home safely? When we sold our old car in New York, we never took off the license plates. That car is being traced back to David's license. No matter what we do, it will take at least 5 days to get David's license reinstated. Disaster. We decided I'm gonna drive back to LA. I don't wanna do it, but I have to. I'll let you know how it goes.
This is now a documentary on how Sophie handles pressure.
I've spent the last several months avoiding getting my license, getting a bicycle to avoid getting my license.
Why don't you tell them the first thing you ask me every time I've made you drive?
The one on the right is the gas, right? And every time he freaks out, he's like, you need to drive more often. We'll update you from the road like the fugitives we are.
Okay.
I feel emotional because I feel really proud of myself. I'm 26 and I'm crying over having driven an hour and a half. Thank you for encouraging me.
I got you. It
took us 10 hours to get home because I was terrified and also didn't drive like a mile over the speed limit because I was trying to fly under the radar. What I was saying to David last night was like, you come face to face with your privilege as like two white passing people. This could really have gone such a different way if the policeman like had prejudice towards us. And so I'm laughing about it, but it's not lost on me how privileged we are that he gave us a ticket but didn't like arrest us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so 2 tickets later, here we are. Might not be as good of a driver as I thought.
And the worst part was that we missed out on the second half of our road trip. I am exhausted. My knees are hurting. How do people drive? Why do people drive? We vowed that we would continue the road trip sooner or later, so we did. 6 weeks later, we set out to finish what we started, and honestly, it was pretty perfect. Zion! The scale of the mountains and cliffs in Zion was awesome. Like awesome in the truest sense of the word. You know that feeling when you look at a mountain and you feel so tiny? It's cheesy and everyone says it about nature, but things are cheesy because often they're true. So this is one of those things.
Wow.
One thing that was kind of unexpected for me about road trips was how nice it would be to get that much time to bond with David. We always come home from a road trip feeling much closer to each other.
Who's your best friend?
Sophie Audrey Rustine.
Ask me who my best friend is.
Who's your best friend?
Hot hands.
This road trip was particularly special because not only did we get to bond with each other, we also got to visit one of my really, really close friends from New York who now lives in Tucson.
Samba has been showing us around Tucson.
Also not driving well.
And probably convincing us that we should move here.
Yes. Move here.
She's like, yep, Sophie's right. This doesn't even look that big, but it's so big.
We got to spend time with her incredible family who made us feel so welcomed, fed us the best food, and were generally just so warm with us.
Bye. Bella, say bye.
Love you, Dad. We are on our way to Joshua Tree, and that's our last stop before we go home. It's been a long drive day today. Poor David. Are you dead? We're back.
All in all, a great road trip. And in the end, I'm kind of glad we had to split it up into 2 parts because we got twice the fun. Bye for now.
Shout out to nature.
Yo, quick shout out to nature. Buy some of nature's merch, plants.